There is the schedule for the upcoming slate of Super Wild Card games. What, did they drop the Super? Have they dropped the Super? I hope they dropped the Super. All I see is Wild Card. Well, I'll quit calling it Super Wild Card, but it's super that we have Commanders Buccaneers Sunday Night Football on NBC. Now, the game that we talked about earlier, because that's when we're going to find out what the Cowboys are doing with Mike McCarthy, Packers, Eagles. Christian Watson suffered a season-ending torn ACL. He was coming off a bruised left knee that caused him to miss the game at Minnesota in Week 17. He had suffered that knee injury the week before, tore the ACL in the season-ending game against the Bears. I feel bad for the Packers. They went out there and tried to win, tried to improve their playoff seeding, tried to avoid a trip to Philadelphia, and came out of it with no Christian Watson. And the worst time, you never want to tear your ACL. The worst time to do it's in January, going into the next year. And Jordan Love's got an injury issue. Malik Willis has an injury issue. So they go all in to get higher in the playoff tree. They fail, and now they have injuries on top of it.
And you forgot they lost the game. Like you do all of that, and you lose players, you lose the game, and you still head to Philly. So Christian Watson's as we're watching the game, we're like, that's a huge blow, watching Christian Watson go down because of the team. And I think that the Packers are one team that when you look at their receiving core, they all specialize in something. So when you're preparing for them, you have to be ready for those guys to all do what they do best, and they can all be effective in a game. No one takes away from the other person. So that was a big part. But then you're like, man, Jordan Love didn't finish the game. So that's the biggest part of this, because for one, we keep saying it, you want to be playing your best ball. So they don't go out there and they don't particularly play well against Chicago. And then Love gets hurt on top of that. And even if he plays, I think sometimes people forget the way the injury affects the week, the amount of rehab, the extra things you have to do to feel better to play. And I don't know exactly how he felt not returning. They said he could have. So I don't know how he felt, when he woke up today on a Tuesday morning and what he has to do. But it just adds more to your schedule and more you have to do that has nothing to do with actually winning the football game. And that's what injuries start to do to you late in the season. So they're going to have to prepare for both guys possibly to go, but both guys are banged up. For LaFleur, that's not ideal going into a playoff game and then having to go to the Philadelphia Eagles and play them on the road, as good of a football team they've been. And they're coming off a bye week, basically, where they rested most of their guys.
Well, and Jalen Hurts wouldn't have played even if they didn't rest their guys. He's still in the concussion protocol from an injury that happened kind of vaguely and mysteriously. We see guys get concussion checks from time to time, and then they're out, and now he's still in it. And the team is being responsible and prudent. They're not talking about it at all. The idea is you don't want to put any pressure, internal or external, on a guy to come back before he's ready. You got to get through 5 steps. He hasn't gotten through there yet. He's missed the past 2 games, and the concussion happened December 22 against Washington. Still hasn't practiced yet. So we may not see him. It might be Kenny Pickett with broken ribs, shot up to control the pain on Sunday against the Packers, which might give Green Bay a chance to win. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.